ISIS and Al-Qaeda are both trying to claim West Africa and Southern Asia. More now than ever, ISIS and Al-Qaeda have been battling for more territory. With both the groups fighting for more territory, Al-Qaeda has been able to move and grow quicker, faster than ISIS can. ISIS still presses a threat to many countries, even smaller countries. With many different militaries fighting ISIS, no one has been able to 100% completely eliminate ISIS. ISIS causes a significant and evolving threat around the world, says experts. America, Syria, Saudi Arabia, and much of Europe have been in constant threat from ISIS bombs and suicide bombers. In the Brussels attack, 32 were killed. In Pierce nightclub in Orlando, 49 were killed. And in the Paris attacks, 130 were killed. ISIS is able to move with weapons and or are making them in their desired country. With ISIS in many countries between the gunfire, many of thousands of U.S. troops and civilians have been wounded or even killed. In one battle, there was a mass grave dug. It was filled with about 500 civilians and over 1,000 ISIS members. The civilians are constantly worried about what will happen to them because ISIS is known to behead, crucify, hang, rape, and do public executions. Many civilians hide under their houses, hide in their basements, or have moved to where they think is a safe area. ISIS is getting their money because many of their leaders work for the oil company. At a point, ISIS had an estimated $2 million. With the money, ISIS buys guns and bombs and supplies to make the bombs. A major battle was the Battle of Fallujah. The Battle of Fallujah was a city called Fallujah in Iraq. Many civilians died in the gunfire. This was a battle in which there was most American casualties. There was 71 dead and 425 wounded American soldiers, and about 1,000 dead and 1,200 captured ISIS members. Overall, the war in ISIS has been going on for a long time. ISIS has been losing land and are creating major threats. It has been affecting civilian life. The war in ISIS has been going on for a long time. ISIS has been losing land and making major threats. ISIS has been affecting civilian life, and ISIS has been able to get money and are able to make major battles.
Hello, I'm Lauren Cobb, and I am an SMSA news correspondent, and I am in Yemen. Today, I'm with Ava, and I'm going to interview her about the life as a starving child by starvation.
My country is being affected because we're not getting enough healthy food. We don't have any bread and rice, which is not nutritious enough.
How did starvation start in your country?
Well, we started because of the proxy war, and it has killed over 10,000 people in Yemen, and this has led to much more famine.
What is starvation like during the proxy war?
People are using food as a weapon, and this is causing much more famine. Go.
Have you ever heard of the Arab Spring? In short, the Arab Spring was when people all across the Middle East were protesting and rebelling against the government. It started in Tunisia with a man named Mohamed Bouazizi, who set himself on fire to protest the government when they took away his vegetable stand. Many people were not happy with the government, and it only took a spark to ignite the fire of rebellion that spread wide across the Middle East. The protests. Imagine thousands of people crowding the streets, shouting and holding signs protesting the government. That is what it was like when countries decided to rebel against the government. In the Middle East, many people joined together to peacefully protest in hopes of overthrowing their unsatisfactory government and establishing a new one. I am really not clear yet, but I still want to bet on the good day that will be coming after the turbulent times that we are witnessing now, says Ragida Durham in the article The Arab Spring, A Year of Revolution. However, the protests are not always peaceful. Thousands of people have died due to these protests, and many more have been injured. When the protests became too much to handle, some political leaders decided to step down or flee to a different country. Some countries have been able to successfully overthrow their government, including Tunisia, Egypt, Libya, and Yemen. An uncertain future. Even though some countries managed to overthrow their government, there is still a long road ahead. The country has to establish new leaders and try to create a government that appeases the people. If a new government is not installed quickly, the government could become just as bad as the one the country got rid of. I think maybe the result of the revolution will take longer than I expected, says Ezra Abdel Fattah in the article The Arab Spring, A Year of Revolution, after Egypt's government was recently overthrown. This just goes to show that the future of many Middle Eastern countries is very uncertain.
Hello, my name is Mariana Fields from SMSA News. Today I'm here to talk about the three religions in the Middle East. In the Middle East, there are three different religions. The three religions are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Jews are mostly in Israel, Christians are mostly in Lebanon, and Muslims are mostly in Saudi Arabia. Christianity was founded in the Roman Empire, Judaism was founded in Israel, and Islam was founded in Mecca, where I am here today. To be a Muslim, you have to try to go to Mecca to celebrate the pilgrimage of Hajj at least once in your life. This is one of the many traditions. Some of the other traditions are daily prayer, fasting during Ramadan, and almsgiving. Muslim girls must wear a hijab, and when she gets married, she must wear a mask to cover part of their face. Christians have traditions of getting 7 sacraments: baptism, first communion, confirmation, holy matrimony, reconciliation, holy orders, and anointing of the sick. Jews have traditions of eating kosher food, marriage, going to adulthood with a bat mitzvah or a bar mitzvah. During Passover, Jews are on a diet forbidden to eat any product from wheat, barley, rye, or oats. Instead, flatbread is made from flour and water called matzah is eaten. Yom Kippur is a day of anointment. It is a day of prayer and fasting taken very seriously. Hanukkah celebrates the victory over the Maccabees over the Syrian Greek rulers of Jerusalem.
Hi, I'm Sydney from SMSA News, and I'm here today going to interview Asma from Saudi Arabia. So, what are women's rights like in Saudi Arabia?
Saudi Arabia has slowly started to give women more freedom and equal rights. Saudi Arabia opened their first school for women in 1955. Since then, they have grown and opened up their first university in 1970. They are still the country that has fallen most behind in women's rights.
So, what has Saudi Arabia done to try to improve women's rights recently?
The driving ban has just been lifted for women in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has been trapped in those walls for very long and still have some walls. In Tunisia, the driving ban was lifted long ago.
Hi, I'm back interviewing Isla from Tunisia. So, what advancements has Tunisia made in women's rights?
In July 2017, Tunisia passed a law that counts sexual, physical, and mental abuse as violence. Women gained the right to vote in 1956. That was a big turning point for Tunisia's women's rights.
So, what is education like in Tunisia?
Tunisia has a 71% literacy rate, which means 71% of the women in Tunisia can read.
Hello, my name is Lauren Cobb, and I am a newscaster for SMSA News. Today I am in Saudi Arabia with what is a typical marriage like in Saudi Arabia?
In Saudi Arabia, it's usually since the women cannot leave the house without permission from their male guardian, the male usually comes to the house and talks to the female, kind of like an American date. This is called the engagement period, and this is how most women get married. And then they get to choose if they want to marry them, and the parents also, the elders, get to choose if it's suitable.
Is this what your marriage is like?
Now, my husband raped me, and in Saudi Arabia, if you get raped, then you have to get married to the person that raped you.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it was very traumatic for me and my daughter.
You have a daughter?
Well, he raped me.
Having a male guardian.
Well, male guardians can be a husband, a father, an uncle, and grandpa, even a son.
And who is your male guardian?
It's my son. Sometimes when my husband is away on business trips, but it's usually my husband, the one who raped me, Yeah, he's my male guardian, and he gets to restrict whether I'm allowed to go over, travel into different countries, pay, vote, drive, get out of jail. Yeah.
So you don't have many rights
Not at
because
all.
of your male guardian?
Yeah, I'm very restricted here in Saudi.
That's very horrible.